2024 Baja 1000 recap. As we all know, everything starts pre-running, but we've beat that horse to death in terms of all the videos that we've done of pre-running. So for these purposes, I'll start with qualifying. Our qualifying was not our best qualifying effort. We ended up finishing 9th, which in a San Felipe 250 is detrimental to the race. I mean, but at a Baja 1000 with over 850 miles, it's not. And the positive part is that we have the whole race in front of us. We're 9th. We have 8 vehicles in front of us. And obviously the mentality for me, for Javi, for Titino, for Jason changes in terms of now we're attacking, right? We're not protecting, we're attacking for the race, which sometimes obviously complements Jason's and I driving style. So we start out of Rancho Nelson in 9th place, and we start heading over to Ojos on race day. Obviously, race mile 20, we see Christopher Plavorti in the one truck parked on the side of the road. I guess some steering issues. As a driver, obviously, as you're going along, you're counting, right? So I started 9th, there's 8 in front of me. So now I'm 8th, and there's 7 in front of me. So you're kind of doing that countdown, to just keep yourself going a little bit. So before we get to Ojos Negros, Chris is on the side of the road. We're now running 8th, 7 in front of us. Then we get to Ojos Negros and then start crossing over to Acámbaro towards the Pacific side. On that crossover, number 41, Justin Lofton is on the side of the road, I think most likely changing a tire. So we get by him. We're 7th, 6 cars in front of us. This is looking good. Before race mile 80, we get to race mile 80. We're constantly behind Alan in the 10 truck, between 40 and 20 seconds behind him. So we're beating him on time. We get to Acámbaro, and it's we're first place on uncorrected time, which it's way too early in the race to even make anything of that. But at least our pace is where we want it to be. Clean first 80 miles. We are right behind the 1L because Alan got around him right before we get out to Acámbaro. So on the highway, the 1L pulls over, lets us by. So now we're 6th place, and there's 5 trucks in front of us. This is beautiful, right? I mean, we're at race mile 80, 90, and we've already gone up 3 positions, and there's only five people in front of us. So we keep on pushing on the beach. We're behind Alan again. We're keeping that gap, that 20 to 30 second gap. And then at some point, maybe between race mile 140 and 150, Alan gets around the 23 in Andy McMillan. And we realize this because now I'm seeing blue in front of me instead of black and pink. And we're chasing Andy. As we're getting to race mile 160, there's kind of a sweeping left with a 90 degree, sweeping right with a 90 degree left. I kind of cut that corner, and there was a little bit of water in that cut, to where during every single one of our pre-runs there wasn't. And to me, it wasn't a big deal. I mean, we went through 500 puddles that same way. Last year's Baja 1000 in Bryce's truck, nothing happened. I go through the water and just everything just shuts off. Electronics, everything shuts off, and I'm freaking out. Obviously, I'm like, what's happening? I was maybe 8 seconds behind the 23 at this point. I mean, we were getting ready to put a move on him and pass him, and it just shuts down. The truck shuts down. Titino jumps out. He's going crazy trying to figure out what's going on, and I'm in there pushing buttons. I'm freaking out, and all of a sudden, maybe like 3 minutes pass, and I don't know how, I don't know why. Maybe because we have the Virgin Guadalupe on the side, and or whatever it ended up being. All of a sudden, the truck just magically comes alive again. I hit the ignition switch. I get the light. I hit, and I hit the ignition button. The truck turns on. Titino kind of jumps back in into the truck, and we get going again. Unfortunately, the 1L got past us again. So at this point, we're 7th again. 6 trucks in front of us at race mile 160. Obviously, this is too early in the race, so we're pushing, right? We want to push. That put us back in a 3rd place on corrected time. Like I said, 6th place 7th place physically, 6 cars in front of us. And at that point, it's just we need to continue to push. We need to make sure that we're going. We continue going down the beach. We come out to San Quintin, cross over towards sort of the center side of the peninsula in El Rosario, and we catch the 1L. He pulls over again. Again, 6th place, 5 cars in front of us. As we continue to go, 89, Walser is parked on the side of the road, helmets off. I'm like, oh, I think their day is done. So now we're 5th place, 4 cars in front of us. And we start to catch the 23 again. Start to catch the 23 at this point. Again, you're seeing him. He makes a left at the bush, and you're counting down 1,000, 1,000, and we're counting off time him. And we were 40 seconds behind him, then we're 30 seconds behind him, then we're 20 seconds behind him. We got to about 15 seconds behind him, and we knew that we were going at 306 into a section where there was silt. 2015 Baja 1000 got stuck in that silt, so we're very aware of this area. So I'm like, okay, 18 to 20 seconds is okay. I think Andy goes by, silt kind of dies down, we'll go by, we'll be fine. Little did we know that by 306, I think Toby was changing a tire at 306. Alan just changed a tire right before that, and Andy was right in that mix. So there's 3 trucks within 2 minutes ahead of us go through the silt, and when I get there, it is zero visibility. Zero visibility. I can't see from here to the camera. So usually when that happens in silt, and by the way, you have the 2015 1000 in your head, you're not stopping in the silt. So we're just putting along, or kind of going, feeling the sides a little bit, kind of in the rail of the silt. We're going, and then we drop into this wash, and as we drop into the wash, we lose the rails. So I'm kind of like floating a little bit in terms of where we're going, because we still can't see anything. And all of a sudden we hit a tree, and we hit it fast enough to where we climb on top of it, but slow enough to where we don't go through it. As we try to back up, the front A-arms kind of get stuck on the tree, and the 1L comes by us again, the 89 goes by, the 41 goes by, and the 37L go by. 16 minutes and 42 seconds later. And I say we, but it was really Javi who kind of got it unstuck. I was just pressing a button inside of the truck. Truck would go up on one side. Javi would stuff stuff under the tires. Truck would go up on the other side. He would stuff more stuff under the tires. We'd go back. We'd go forward. 16 minutes and 42 seconds later, we finally got the truck unstuck. Lost 4 positions right there. Kind of devastated. Thought the race was over. But as I've spoken in the past, and sort of what we believe in this team, we didn't give up, and we started to push. We started going again. We passed the 37L on the side of the road, helmets off, before Catavina. So all right, I guess we got 1 out of those 4 back, and then I gave the truck to Jason. Jason goes across Fred's tractor trail, up Puertecitos. I'm in a chase truck going up Puertecitos as well. Jason ends up passing the 41 in his pit, ends up passing the 89 in his pit. So we got 2 more there. It's perfect. So now we got 3 out of the 4 back. As soon as he goes into Matomi, he gets the 23 running, which at this point it was Dan, not Andy. So now, there's 4 trucks in front of us again. As they're going along, going up San Felipe and stuff, they catch the 1L, Mike Coleman at this point driving. Mike pulls over, lets the 21 and Jason by. Then Jason, now running, and before that, Toby ended up being out of the race at some point, but now we have 2 trucks in front of us, the 10 and the 83. Jason just puts down an amazing run in San Felipe. Starts to make up time on the 10 and the 83. Gives me the truck back at San Matias, 3rd place, about 12 minutes behind Luke in the 83, and about 4 minutes behind Alan in the 10. San Matias was freezing. It was raining. It was freezing. This obviously brings back memories of the 2023 Baja 1000, where we go up the goat trail and there's just water everywhere. I'm freezing to death. I'm shaking in the car. There's just gallons of water coming in through the front of the truck. And so at this point, I'm like, oh, I'm smart, right? I'll put a vest on and I'll put a jacket on and I'll be warm, expecting it to be similar, the rain and things like that. Well, we get going on the highway, again, running third on the road, and it's, I'm good. I'm like, I feel great. As soon as we start going up the goat trail and start to work a little bit and start to push, I get hot. So I'm running hot. I try to get my jacket to unzip. I can't unzip the damn thing. I'm almost running off the road. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not even going to deal with it. I'll just run a little bit hot, and I'll rather run a little hot than really cold like last year. And at that point, we're like, okay, we start getting times on the 10, and those 4 minutes are now 3 minutes, and then 2.5 minutes, then 2 minutes. We get down to 90 seconds behind the 10, and all of a sudden, I don't know, maybe race mile 760, 770 around there, I see him parked on the side of the road, ass end up. They're changing a belt. Changing belt on the truck. So I'm like, oh, perfect. Now we're second place. We're about, at this point, I think 6 or 7 minutes behind Luke. There's 100 miles to go. My chances of making 6 or 7 minutes up in 100 miles, especially in those conditions where it's raining, you have your shield up, the Parker pumper's not working, are slim to none. Luke knows the times that we have. So we're both pushing. Yeah, and at the end of the day, back at Rancho Nelson, after 870, 880 miles of racing, we're about 5 minutes and 35 minutes and 40 seconds behind Luke. I was not able to make up any more time on him, unfortunately. But as a driver, that puts us in second place for the Baja 1000. Our objective this year was podiums. That's our third podium of the year out of 4 races. It's something that obviously we're trying to build upon. And when you look at the whole race, and like I said, whether you're kind of counting the minutes or seconds between you and the car in front of you, or you're counting down the cars that you're passing. Another thing that we do is at the end of the race, the coulda, shoulda, woulda sucks and doesn't matter. But it is, if I add the 16:42 plus the 3, it gives me about 20 minutes that we lost in the race. And then we lost to Luke by 5:37, by 5:40, something like that. It makes you feel better as a driver. As to the other side of where you lose 5:40 and you lost by 20, you're like, well, where the heck are my other, 14 minutes and 20 seconds? I just got beat, right? We just got beat. This time we beat ourselves. And as dumb as it may sound, for me, it gives me a lot more confidence going into 25 that we have the pace. We pushed the truck, really hard for 880 miles, and it did an amazing job, both Jason and I. So, we're happy with the result of the 1,000. Unfortunately, we lose the championship by 1 point. We lose the race by a little less than 6 minutes. But again, we look at 2025. And we're ready to get at it again.